Good evening. Today is March 12, 2015. It is 2:30 a.m. in the morning. Welcome to Phoenix Trading Strategies Trade Forecasting Room. Today we're going to be going over and looking at potential trade entries this European session. So before we begin, let's go to the disclaimer. Disclaimer. Future stocks and spot currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the future stocks and forex markets. Do not trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell future stocks or forex. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed on this website. Past performance of indicators or methodology are not necessarily indicative of future results. Being that said and done, for those of you that are back, welcome. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. I have to apologize for some of you for not being able to respond to your emails. Somehow, our email got on a spam filter, and we're trying to resolve that issue. So bear with us for a day or so. I will be responding to most of you from probably my Yahoo or my Gmail in the meantime while we get that resolved. It has been a real interesting endeavor to go through that. Not one of the things that I've was really accustomed to seeing. But bear with us. We did start a 3-day training session yesterday, which more than likely I will finish on Sunday. For those of you that could not make it, I will begin another one next Tuesday. And I'll send you an email so that you can confirm in that regard before to schedule you in. Okay, being that said and done, let's get this started. Today we look at charts and we look at trading opportunities to see what the market's doing. But before we look at charts, we always look at the calendar. It's always important to see what type of news we have this evening or this morning. Right now, we're waiting for, within the next half hour, German CPI month on month. The numbers have been pretty positive for the Japanese yen. As you can see here, they were better than forecast, consumer confidence. So we're seeing some yen strength at this particular moment. The unemployment rate from Australia was less than expected, but still coming on pretty strong. So not too bad in that regard. Not really a lot of strong news tonight, except for maybe at 2:30 a.m. my time, which is 5:30 a.m. Eastern, where we're anticipating trade balance from the UK. That would really be the only one, and then the rest of the news is going to come in at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Core retail sales month on month for the U.S., unemployment claims for the U.S., and import prices. So these three should be drivers in the morning. However, I think that at this point we've already seen U.S. dollar strength too much in the market. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any rebalancing that's going to take place. And at this moment, I just really don't see that happening. So it'll be very interesting to capture that. First thing we do, we take a look at charts and see what has been happening. I've been monitoring this one right now, the Aussie yen. They did come down, as you can see. Those of you that have the software, power dots formed right below this 2-hour level. And as you can see, they never really broke below it, and they've already made a move. So some of these trades have already taken place. This one, 36 pips. At this point, I would not really jump into this trade to the upside. And my only reason for saying that is this. See this level right here? It's bouncing directly off of it. Now, even though they've broken through this level and moved to the upside in the past, sometimes they use it as a resistance level. So because the yen right now is getting stronger, I'm afraid that we could see this come right back down. But I wouldn't really be shorting this one quite yet, only because the power dots formed here on the 20-minute, and even though they did it earlier, normally this can be a 2-3 hour trade. So it still has a potential to come up to this level. And if that's the case, you know, I don't like to chase trades once they've initiated. I like to get in when they're at specific levels, especially a 4-hour level, the way this one is here. You can see basically how they tested it and then came down to the 2-hour level. So this is very, you know, the way that they're trading right now is very interesting, but we're not here to follow trades. Even though this one from this point to this point could generate another 25 pips, it's just too much risk in the event that something were to happen. I like to get in when I know they're going to rebalance their order book and actually drive it in a specific direction. Then at that point, we can say, okay, we actually have a decent trade for the night. So right now this one's a little bit off hands. I have been looking at the US yen, and we'll take a look at that one briefly. This one initiated already, and it's funny because on the 30-minute, it originally was a continuation. They did go long, but they halted here at 121.65. Now they're currently trading at 121.33, and we have power dots. Now this is in the middle of a range. So normally when they're in the middle of a range, I don't like to take trades either. I like for them to be either at the very top or at the very bottom. At this point, can't really tell if it's going to come down, and we're looking for certainty. We're looking for specific signals, and we're not getting them here, and that's sort of a little on the edge. Now here on the 15-minute, they did give us a signal from the very opening of the new session, and as you can see, they did trade around this price level, and they did come down. So again, I don't really like to follow trades. It just doesn't make sense to do so anymore. The market's been a little dangerous ever since the euro has been falling apart. No, we did the disclaimer. Thank you for reminding me. Now, there are no buy, hold, sell trade recommendations. So any trades that we do identify today, you trade at your own risk. Now, this trade is a trade that I normally would not take or get into right now because it's already initiated. Unless I see them come back and retest this level, then at that point. And right now it's a little bit too early. We're still waiting for the London Open, which should take place within the next 20 minutes. So right now we're basically just monitoring and taking a look to see what is in play. The euro pound, this one at this particular moment is showing us that they are setting up to rebalance, and you can see right here on the 15-minute that they've already started to form the first power dot. So this one should be interesting. Why? Because normally around these levels, whenever they do that, it allows us to go back and confirm and see, okay, what are we missing? So normally I like to go back to the very beginning. I like to go back to the monthly and see, okay, where is this trading at? And is there a specific level that I can identify this to? There isn't right now. Everything's too far. I'll look at the weekly and see if there's anything even remotely close as well on the weekly. Nothing. Everything's too far from that. The daily, nothing. And you can see the euro has basically just crashed against the British pound. Then I'll go down to 720. And here I'll have to add data, because anytime that you go to the higher series, you have to add data. Here, we still don't have any levels. We have this one up here, and that's way too far from where this is currently at. Practically 300 pips away. So we can't really use that. So we work our way down, the 480. See if there's anything, nothing that we can use there. The 240, and on and on. You're looking for some sort of confirmation. We're not finding it right now, and that makes it a little bit on the tough side. So you continue to scale down until you find something that makes sense. These are too far, so we can't use them. 90-minute, nothing. 60-minute, nothing, and on until you get something that actually makes sense. This is telling us right here that they're using this as a support level. Now, on the 30-minute, it didn't really play out, because when it did appear towards the end of the day, you would have expected a continuation move from this level higher, at least up here to 70.81. Never happened. It always traded within the trend stop, so it's in a level of congestion. Now, it did come down. It did retest, and now, of course, it's up here. But now we have, on the 15-minute, a lower level. So again, we're looking for more confirmation, to see here on the 20-minute, we're seeing that if they break below this level, then it's a selling frenzy from that on. So that's actually not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. And we go down to the 15-minute where we were currently at, and you can see that the level's right there. So here is where we actually, finding the first trade makes sense for us to add the other indicators and actually see what in actuality is playing. And that is where we start to look at volume. We start to see if there is a rebalancing of orders. Because remember, the volume indicator is giving us the digital order book that the banks have. If you were a floor trader, back in the day when there were still floor traders, because they've pretty much kicked them all out, they could see what the order book was. So they were able to tell in actuality what was happening. Now, there's two things that I don't like. There's one thing that I don't like about this. And what I don't like is that I'm seeing that the British pound is actually losing value and the euro is starting to gain value. Now, based on this here on the FX Trader, you would anticipate that this would have gone long. However, they've pretty much stopped it at 70.54 with this power dot. Any attempt of going long is pretty much over. Now, that tells us that we may be looking at a surprise today during the good morning, Arisak, my friend. That may tell us that we're looking at maybe some surprise taking place during the trade balance announcement at 2:30 a.m. My time, which is 5:30 a.m. Eastern. On this one. Why? Because we have a power dot that just formed here. Even though we don't have any more that are formed, sometimes you don't have to. That one can make the difference. So in this case, first thing we do is we take a look at the volume and we see, are they really and truly rebalancing their orders right now? Let me get the pointer so that we don't. Okay, so this one right here, you can see that their order book is saying 38 million on the buy, 56 million on the sell, difference of 18 million. Now, first question you have to ask yourself is, why? And you have a second power dot forming. Why are they stopping from trading above this price level? That's the first question. And the answer to that is the volume is basically telling you that the sellers are selling further away from this price level. As you can see, the buyers are buying less. The previous candle, there was twice as much volume, 73 million on the buy side, 85 million on the sell side. Again, a difference of 12 million. Why? Number one, they never really made it all the way up to this level. Now remember that this level right now, or this price, which is 70.53, is holding pretty strong. 70.53 is where they are starting to negotiate whether they're going to rebalance to take it long or rebalance to take it short. Now based on the volume, they've already attempted to take it short and haven't really done, but here you can see they're closing above the mean. So this previous candle right here didn't really have a lot of volume. 8.5 million on the buy, 7 million on the sell. Actually, not even 1 million on the sell. So you had a difference of 7.8 million on the buy. That's a big difference. Very little selling volume, a lot more buying volume. But if this is a zero-sum game, and this is where you have to look at it from that perspective that as a zero-sum game, actually, you know what, you're right. Let me move this here and let me remove my previous screen, my second screen. This should make it bigger. Hold on a second. How's that? Is that better? Can everyone see that much better? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, great. The same. Interesting. Now here at this level, two things are happening. With the volume, let me pull that out again. Where is it? No, that's not it. Where is the volume? Hold on, I think I left it and may have moved to the other monitor. Give me 1 second. Let's try that again. Ah, it did, okay. Should go back to normal in a second. Okay. Now the volume here in this particular candle is showing us a lot. It's telling us that the buyers are willing to drive this above 70.53, but the sellers aren't willing to fill those orders. That's the question that comes when we start to see the power dots. That's the only question that should come to your mind. Now, this current one right now, you can see that the volume is increased. The buyers are buying more. They're putting in orders twice as fast, twice as harder than the sellers. The sellers don't want to sell. So as they begin to test this level, you know, again, right now the number one question is, will they break this level? If they break this level, then at that point, this is going to break to the upside. But if they don't, and that's the question that we still have yet to answer, if they don't, then does this volume that they are pushing through justify why they wouldn't break it? So at this point, we're pretty much on a waiting stage. Pound dollar already started to move to the upside, and I did see that earlier. We'll take a look at that one real quickly before we come back to this one. Uh-oh. Let's give it a second. Now, a move like this right before the London Open is usually what I call a big Ben trade because of the London Open. Normally they'll try and run stops. Now this one here I didn't like because this one formed here and it should have formed here, so I knew that they were going to attempt to break against it. I'm still not that keen on taking this trade because it didn't give me all the ingredients that I was looking for. And normally I'm very particular about that. If I don't see what I like to see, which in this case I would have preferred the power dots here below to confirm, then I would have been more accepted. I would have accepted this move a lot faster. Now granted, this move is from this point to this point about a 25 pip move. You can't knock 25 pips, but I like a little bit more certainty. And when I'm not getting it, yeah, 25 pips. When I'm not getting it, I'm not jumping in. So even though this is attempting to move to the upside, I'm still not that keen on taking this trade. It just didn't have the ingredients that I was looking for. Now this one that we were looking at, I did have what I was looking for. However, because the pound just made the move that it did, I have to wait and see how it settles. So again, where we're at right now, I'm anticipating a much bigger move based on the volume that they were pressing. And since they're not pushing, you can see that the volume here isn't, this one was pretty high, but this one right now isn't that high. I mean, it's slowly increasing, but nothing extravagant. Now if this candle settles above, then I'm looking for the second candle above this price level. If the second candle settles above this one and continues, then I'm long. Unless I see that, I'm not long. I'm waiting. Why? Because I'm looking for assurances. I'm not looking to guess. We're looking for certainty. When we look for certainty, we don't guess. This move was not a significant move per se in this pair, and that's okay. Sometimes we're looking for that. A 14 pip move so far, you know, one would anticipate a much more aggressive move based on the volume, but the sellers are slowly coming into it. As you can see, 22 million on the buy, 14 million on the sell. Being a zero-sum game, they're slowly filling those orders up here. The fact that they're filling them makes this level now somewhat invalid, unless we see it come back down. So right now, we're just waiting. It's a waiting game on this one. So we'll let it play out, and we'll go see something else. Now I did like, and I was looking at, I did like the Euro New Zealand today earlier. This one was a little interesting actually. This one came down, and it came down very aggressively because of the New Zealand rate announcement. So the euro basically crashed against it even further, and it's been on the downward spiral since. The move from here to here was 224 pips. That's a huge drop. And as you can see, they're still continuing. But we don't have anything right now that tells us that this is going to reverse. That is concerning because, again, everyone is looking right now to see where the euro stands, where the reversal is going to come in. There isn't really a way to predict that right now. There is no floor. The levels on the higher time frames show that it could go below parity to 95 cents. But right now, everyone is looking for the floor on this. I'm not that keen on looking for the floor on this yet, only because I'm looking for more confirmation. And unless I have confirmation, there is no way you're going to catch me taking a long trade on this one. Yes, the better trade today was the Australian dollar. That is very true. I saw that. We're going to get to that one next. See here, for instance, they've broken these levels now. Now this level is significant at this point because, again, just like the British pound, this candle settled above it, and now this one is initiating to the upside. I would anticipate a much more aggressive move, but I'm not, on the euro here. And that's the one reason why I'm not, willing to bet on a long trade, even though if it did, it would have to come up to 107.85. That would be the next level. You're talking about a 200 pip move, but with the way things are happening in Europe, I'm not willing to take that guess or that gamble because it could reverse at any time. Last night, it looked like it was going to do the same thing, but then it settled that it was going to go short. I took it short. Index is falling like a brick. Oh yeah, gold should be interesting today because the indexes are falling like a stone. Again here, we're looking for more confirmation. And we're not seeing it. We're looking for specific things in these trades. Even though they became a little active an hour earlier, it doesn't matter. They will usually set up for some sort of news. Now again here, they broke above this level. They're definitely trading above this previous high. So, great move to the upside. Would I have been interested in taking this from here based on the fact that they did form power dots here? Yeah. I probably would have gotten in, especially after I saw the pivot form. More than likely on this candle at 75.82. A good run. It was definitely a good run because from this candle, let's see, would have gotten in here. You're looking at 58 pips. Now this happened literally. This was 10. This is almost midnight, so this is 11, 10, 9 p.m. So it's about midnight Eastern. This is when it kicked in. Midnight Eastern. Good trade to the upside. We're late. When we're late, we're late. We miss it. So we look for other opportunities. No reason to despair, believe me. The Canadians in play. The Canadians in play right now, and so is gold. It'll be interesting. Let's take a look at this and see what web we weave. I mapped this one out because it had three levels. It had a 30, a 20, and a 15 right here. They seem to have broken, and now they're trading at the 30 level. Now this trade has been going long for a very, very, very long time. Since last Friday, it has not stopped, and they broke above a 4-hour level, which is this one. And you can see how they traded consistently around it, and they used it as a support level. Normally when they break a 4-hour level, they will use that as a support level. So our job is to try and find power dots around it and pivot points that would justify the continuation move. It did continue, of course, and that's why we're seeing it all the way up here. Now, many would say, okay, they've gone up too many days, they have to rebalance and come down. Under normal conditions, I would agree with you. Right now, the market is abnormal from every condition. We have a bullish dollar, and it doesn't seem to want to weaken. Go figure. So it just continues to go up higher and higher. Now, here, for instance, the fact that they did come down and retest this level, and we have three levels here, I'm actually waiting for, at this point with this specific trade, to see when it actually starts. Because it already bounced, I would like to see it continue to form to the upside because I'm more interested in a bullish dollar than I am in a bearish one right now. Again, nothing. If it were to break to the downside, this is where it would come, 126.61. It's at 127.23. I don't think it's going to break to the downside. Not yet. And it's certainly not going to come down to 125.78, even with the news coming out today. It's not strong enough to drive this. It would have to be really bad, and I don't see it being really bad at this point. Now, the fact that they came to this level and bounced right off of 127.10 tells me a lot. Even though we don't have power dots here, I'm still looking at the volume at this point. And I'm looking at here, and I'm looking at here. So I want to know, why did they come down? Why didn't they hit this level hard enough? 63 million on the buy, 56 million on the sell. You know, a bearish candle with bullish volume. When you have that, normally the next candle will bounce up. And it did right off of this level, 127.10. This one came in at 67 million on the buy, 77 million on the sell. The sellers, again, are more interested in selling. The buyers less interested in buying. Not a good thing. This is a bullish candle with bearish volume. This candle right now hasn't really finished, so we can't really say, but it's still more inclined to go to the upside. And the fact that it's bouncing off of this level and off of this level, which is a 20-minute, if it holds above, close to above this 15-minute level and breaks to the upside, then I'm interested in taking that trade long. I would consider this one more, even though I don't have power dots in the immediate right here, but I do have 3 specific price levels that are telling me this may not be a bearish trade anymore. So I want to wait and see to see how it plays out. So we'll come back to this one. Let's take a look at gold and see how gold is playing. We'll take a look at the DAX. Well, that's always a wonder of its own. Oh yeah, look at that. God, you gotta love gold. The moves on this thing is just intense. $11. It's probably a good $13 move. Question is, will it hold? And it's trading right there. Look at that. Right at this level. It found its resistance. So it could actually turn from this point to the downside from 1163.60. Pound Swissy. Let's take a look at that one. Thank you. But now that I'm seeing gold potentially reverse, I'm curious about your trade. We still have time. Make no mistake. There are trades right now that are still setting up. Yeah, see, my concern right now, even though you went short on this, I would have anticipated a little bit more momentum on this. And since the pound has been getting stronger, I don't know at this point if this trade would actually play out. Because they hit this level, and I want to see if it lines up with a previous level. Nope. Let's go to the 30-minute on this. Excuse me. Ooh, Oh yeah, very nice level right here on the 30. Now I know why he went short. You're basing it off of this. Stop, stop, stop. Let's mark this. And we have a pivot. We have transition. The Swiss is getting stronger. The British pound is getting weaker. Okay. Yeah, this one looks good. This one looks like a taker. Let's go down on this one before we go to the higher time frames to confirm and see if there's a 4-hour or 2-hour level that they're trading around. 20-minute confirms it. Let's go to the 240. It does not on the higher time frame. I'm seeing that. It's been too high, but this pivot, it came down, retested it here. So let's go higher for 80. My question, did you look at the monthly, the weekly? You have 17 pips. You got a good trade, I gotta say it. You know how to pick them. Okay, so let's go to the higher time frames. Let's remove some of these indicators. Okay, let's go to the higher time frame on this thing and really see if there's something that we're missing. Okay, so this is the daily. Let's move into it a little further. Right there. That's your level. Valid trade. Let's mark it. It's at a price of 152.12. Okay. Now we can go back. 15 minute. 152.12 is all the way up here. And they're down here. Interesting. Let me go back to that one more time. 151.99. My mistake. Okay, 15 minute. Which is here. Here's where they bounced and they came down. And they're doing that again. 150.84. Max it out. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. On the 30 minute. Yeah. It was a good, no, the 30 minute was the one that gave it away. And then it confirmed it on the 20 and the 15, and that's why it hit. But now it's trading around here. I would anticipate a little bit more momentum to the downside on this trade. And I'm not seeing it. And that's my only concern. I would wait for them to come back and retest at this point on this trade before saying okay, or at least come back to 151.02 before jumping in to the downside further. Yeah, 151 even would be where I would be looking for it, because I would have anticipated with this wide bar as fast as it fell for the continuation of this candle to the downside, and it's not continuing. And again, we have to really look into that. Yeah, I mean, it came down to 75. Right now it's at 89, 150.89. You know, it's a second candle. I'm a little bit more curious as to why it didn't break this level when it should have broken it much more aggressively, and it held off. So at this point, I'm definitely more inclined to wait. But I do want to take a look at the British pound real quickly to see how that's trading. See, the pound is still gaining strength, and there isn't a reason for me to not say it's going to stop. I'm looking for one, and I can't find it. Nothing on the 60. Actually, let me increase the data here. 35. Nope. Nothing on the 30. It's, no. I mean, power dot formed here and they're trading right above it. More likely it's going to continue at this point. If it breaks this level, then it'll go. If not, then not. Let's take a look here and see what they're playing. But see, here on the 30-minute, it's telling me that it's going down. And it's crossing against the euro. Same thing to look for on with the Swiss. That's why the pound Swiss and the pound and the euro pound look very, very good. Hell, even the Aussie Swiss and the Aussie dollar look good. Actually, no, the Aussie Swiss and the Swiss dollar look good to trade. Let's go back to that euro pound. Yeah, see this one right here, it held. Why did it stop? I mean, this level is the only thing holding it on the 30-minute. They didn't hit it, but they broke right above this level. And I would have anticipated a much more stronger move at this point. 150.25. On which one? On the what pair are you looking at 150.25? Pound US. USD. Here. Why there? I would think it would come up even higher. 150.31, I would say yes, because of the pivots. But we're already late in this one. I don't like to follow the trade once it's already initiated. And it would be a good 30 pips actually, if it continues. Wide bar on the pivots, yes. Nothing there. Yeah, this is 150.25. It makes sense. That would be the next level for them to hit. But if they break through it, they'll come to this level, 150.78. I'm just not that keen, only because we have trade balance numbers coming out tonight. It doesn't really inspire me to take the risk, because for all we know, they'll come up to 150.25, and then at that point, potentially reverse. They could be setting up for that right now. The trade balance announcements, what they're setting this up for. So I'm not ready to jump and take that risk. But GBP, Swissy. See, this one here is giving us everything that we need, and it's already initiated on the 30-minute to the downside. So I can just imagine what it looks like on the 15-minute right now. And since it broke through, you have two pivots now. Yeah, this is a valid trade to the downside now. And they're not setting this up. They're actually going to follow through on this one. This one may be the one that we were looking for to confirm the direction of the trade balance announcement. We also have confirmation of it on the 20-minute right here. They traded right below it. Now what would our stop loss be if we jump in on this at 150.76, 151.16, or we can put it as high here. It's a little tough on this one. Where is the next level it's going to land? The next one would be here with the pivot 150.36, and that's where it's heading. 150 even, 150.36. That's where it's heading. I would say caution with this trade to the downside. It's already initiated. It's a good trade, don't get me wrong, but 150.26 is where it's going to stop. You're still looking at a good 30 pip drop on this thing. No buy, hold, trade, sell recommendations. Let's see how low this thing goes. But that it's going to break this level, it'll break. This one did have the right ingredients. You had the 30-minute level. You had pivots around it. They came back, retested it. And then this one, of course, just continued. The volume here is where it's going to become interesting, because this is where the volume just confirms the direction of that trade. Just give it a second. And you got out, didn't you? Yeah, I'm anticipating it's going to come down even further. You know how to pick the trades. I have to give it to you. You have an eloquence about you. You have style picking the trades, but holding on to them is where sometimes you just miss. And this one, I want to look at the volume here because I think it's important. We'll look at it here and we'll work our way down from this pivot. 33 million on the buy, 38 million on the sell. There was more selling because it distanced itself. Same thing here. The buyers were still willing to buy more at a lower level. Continuation of that, even though the volume decreased, price action continued to move. Same thing here, 57 million on the buy, 41 million on the sell. The buyers were trying, but then this one came in and they just hit hard. 167 million on the buy, 149 on the sell. Very odd why this one would have more bullish volume when they came down. And then this one just increased 216 to 213, a difference of 3.8, and it came down even further. And now we should be pretty much at close to break even. And it should break below there. Now we're positive. I'm anticipating this one, like I said, not a big trade. Sometimes miss every time. This was not a miss. You actually had this one. You had confirmation on the 30. You had confirmation on the 20 and the 15, which were lower levels. As soon as they started to trade below those levels, then that point, you were right. I mean, the trade was on. Oh, to holding on to the trade. Yeah, that, it's a psychological thing. We all have, different ways of coping with, with risk. If you're trading, a lot of standard lots, then it's very hold on. Very, very difficult to hold on. If you're trading more than 5 standards, because a 10, 15 pip move can make your day and be done with it. And if you know the direction, then you can trade that way. And you know the direction that they're going to hit, which is a good thing. So you're not missing. What we're missing here is the next level, and the next level is 150.37. That's where it's going to come and either bounce right off of it or break right through it. If it breaks through it, the next level is 150.007 even, and then of course there's no tomorrow. 149.80 is the next one. So this is a decent trade for a good 30 pips, and I think it'll hit, our mark very, very well. I think that we will be able to settle up around this price of 150.29. It's at 150.55, so it still has room to go down. But if it breaks below, then it's on to 149.54. Definitely is a contender. But what's interesting about this trade right now is that it's starting to play out before the trade balance. Usually they will announce or show a trade that will play out that way. The 150.50, is that on the pound? The pound dollar. 150.50 for you? No, I think it's going to break below 150.50. I'll go down to the smaller time frames. Let me see the 10-minute. Pound Swissy. Okay, this one. Let's see. What does the 10-minute show us here? Oops, 150.30. 150. You're saying 150.50. No, I'm thinking 150.30, which is the 150.29 that we were talking about previously. Now it still has potential to come down. If it breaks this level 150.29, then it's on. So now it's going to go right through 150.50. Look at it. It's right there. $150.29. This is where it's going to get interesting. Let's see if it breaks below it, then it should come down even more like a stone. I think the news is going to spike it down, actually. Because normally they'll pick one pair, one outlying pair, an exotic. It may not be the pound dollar itself, but it'll be one pair where they're just going to go right through and just rip everything limb from limb. I mean, right now, yeah, that 150.50, they're really having a really hard time breaking below that, aren't they? But see, it's come too far right now from this level. I mean, that's a big drop. That's almost a 60 pip drop from 150, 115. Unless the pound dollar is doing something. You like the Euro Aussie, huh? I looked at that one, actually. I wasn't that keen on that one earlier on. It was a good trade early on, but the pound dollar stalled. That's what I was thinking of. Aussie dollar, we'll take a look at that one right now. Excuse me. Yeah. It stalled. I told you they'll do a big bend move, and then they'll stop cold. And they did go to 150 even on this one. But there's no level. That's what's bugging me about this, that there isn't a level, even on the higher time frames. USD. I don't like the Aussie dollar too much, and I'll tell you why. Because they're both going in the same direction on the 30-minute, and I have a problem with that. That, to me, is a severe problem. Even though they stalled here, let's see if they're bouncing. They are bouncing off a level right here. 76.62. So if they hold from this point, and let's go higher. Let's see if we can find a 4-hour level on this, or a 2-hour level. Both opposite, yep. No Euro Aussie. I wasn't, yeah, I told you. That thing kicked earlier today. Right now we're a little late in that one. Nothing here. The smaller time frame. Let's go to the 480 actually. You always want to confirm on the higher time frames. If you see a level below, nothing here. Let's go to 720 and then work our way down. Ooh, right here, 76.81. They did come close to it. They came from 76.73, 76.83. We'll mark this one. Okay, so it hit right on the money. Now, even though they broke this level, they usually use it. Once they break through it, they come back and use it as a resistance level. So now we can go back to the smaller minutes. And if we find power dots, yes, if they break above that long. But they're bouncing off of it. And that's what I wanted to look at. And you have a power dot up here. even though it's not here, but it's all the way up here, lines up with this level, it means they're not going to break this level, 76.82. You're looking at a short trade from here, but we need confirmation, a little more confirmation. The 60-minute might be able to give us something on this trade. How's that pound Swissy trade looking, Arisak? See here, see the 60-minute? It gave it to you right here. Right below a 4-hour, which is what we were looking for. Right off of it. And as you scroll down in time frames, you're going to see just that. Really, son of a... I'll take a look at that one real quickly then. Hold on a second. Yeah, see here, they went short even further, and then they went short here. But this level right here, the 60-minute, once it comes out, and it did come out here, it's more than likely to go short. But I want more confirmation on the smaller time frames on this one. The levels don't lie. You know, the one thing that gets in our way of taking some of these trades is our emotions, because sometimes we don't want to believe that it's that simple. But this one is definitely a trade to the downside. Your stop loss can literally be 76.82, which is 20 pips away from where it's currently trading right now. Let's go down to the 15-minute. And on this one, I'm even willing to go down to the 5-minute just to see if there are any power dots. Very funny. Yeah, see, look at this. Now, this is a great place to look at volume because of what they just did. This is where we call them idiots, because they pretty much give us the trade. Here's the level, so you're looking at the volume here. This candle, 265 million on the buy, 185 million on the sell, difference of 80 million. Now that type of volume, the first question comes to mind, why won't they break above this price level? Second question, next one. 267 million on the buy, 231 on the sell, difference of 37 million. Again, why are they not breaking above this level? There's a difference. There's a zero-sum game of 37 million that isn't in play. And then, of course, this one, the volume just isn't over. It's still in play, but they're trading lower than this previous candle. And I like this trade short. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations, but it's just too easy not to take this trade. Tell me I did sell it, yeah. Yeah, see, from this point, excuse me, from this point, I would get out if it comes up to 76.82. I would not let it go any higher than that, because if it breaks this 4-hour level, then it's going to scream to the upside. But if it holds below 76.72, excuse me, then it's tight. And it's trading right below it because this is the level that they have identified on the 60-minute. So it's just a matter of really waiting and seeing. Let's take a look at the pound Swissy. Hey, Mike, how are you? Yeah, see, it's still gonna come. It's still gonna come down at a sec. I mean, this trade is still in play. They'll break below 150. Just that when they do, then they're really gonna break below 150. You know, they're sort of making it, sweetening the pot, if you may call it that. See, look at that. Now that one's still decent. Now let's take a look at the pound US, because that Aussie dollar gave us a good sign. So this next one will be interesting. Yeah, see, even the pound from this point on is starting to retrace. However, we are looking for confirmation, and unless we find it, we don't take it. But the more it retraces, the better for us on the other trade, on the pound Swissy. This one here, they did come close to this 150 even, it's at 149.74 and falling. 149.75. I would have anticipated a much more stronger move on this, and it just hasn't given it. Let's go to 10 minute. Excuse me. 76.82 on the Aussie dollar. Yeah, we'll take a look at that real quickly. Hold on. Nothing here. You know, I hate going down to the 5 minute, but oh great. I'll go down to the 5 minute on this one. On the 3 minute, huh? Nothing here, except for the pivot. That pivot is key, and you can see how it's just continuing to drop. So they did do a big bend, but we're not seeing what we need, and because we're not seeing what we need, we can't be a part of that trade. However, it is telling us that the dollar is getting stronger, and that's not a bad thing, but here we're seeing it weaken. So let's go down to the 15 minute on this thing and see exactly what's happening. You're always going to have to change the bar period. Just remember that. And okay. Well, the dollar's reaching a level of weakness that it won't be able to sustain for too long. The euro is really just screaming against the pound, and so is the Swissy. So that means that euro pound looked good. Let's see, GBP, and then we'll go to the Aussie dollar. Excuse me. But ooh, look at that. There it is, right there. It went above it, but it wants to trade. No. It's because of the fact that it broke through this 30 minute. I didn't get in it earlier. And now it's trading above this level because of the pound weakness and euro strength. Let's see. Let me see a 10 minute. On the 4 hour? Okay. For this one. Yeah, see, they're trading above this, which is not a bad thing. It confirms that it's going to break out, and the breakout's good to the upside on this one. We're seeing, I mean, it's a nice trade to the upside. It just didn't seem like it was going to play any differently. Let's look at the 4 hour, 240. Pivot. but there's no levels here. Nothing. You bought the pound Swiss at 52, did you? Let's see. Now it's holding. Excuse me. It's trading at 150.50 right now. You sure you want to stay long on that? Are you? Is that the one that you looked on the 3-minute? The moving averages that I put on are the 50, which is this one, the 200, and the 800. And I don't really use them per se. I use them more as a visual. Now, because it's trading here below the 200, I would expect it to come down to the 800 to 149.42. That's what everyone would expect. However, not to be the case, because I'm actually anticipating that it'll go to this level 149.99 when it does decide to come down. Ooh, they broke below 150.50, Arisak. Ouch, that hurt. I told you not to go long on that one. Yes, I like the 800. Painful. Yeah, I know it's painful. I told you. The 4-hour on which one? On this one? Or on the Aussie dollar? On this one. Okay. Let's go to a 240 on this one. I told you they were going to break. They're taking their time. That means that this is going to be the leader of the pack. Now on this one, we don't have a level. There was one, though, that I believe was, I don't know if it was a higher time frame or no. Let's see. Let's go to the 720. Maybe it was a 120. Ooh, boy, that thing dropped right below 150.25. Ouch. That hurt. Thank you. I know it, Isak. I told you not to go long on that one. You should have stayed short. You called it perfectly. No, not on the 120. Let's go to the 90-minute on this one. Yeah, the entry on that one was a little weird. We'd actually be up, if we would have caught that one early, we'd be up about 70 pips from its original move. Remember, we said 150.29, and it's at that right now. Nothing here. See the 60-minute. Here, this is where it's 150.21. They're going to hit this level again, and they may not break it. So 150.20 is where we exit. If they break below it, then at that point, let's draw a line just to, remind us of Oh no, they did break below that. Look at that. Son of a gun. Boy, they just keep on giving, don't they? Oh, it broke. Not going to break, it broke. It broke at a sex heart, and oh, look, it should come to 149.99. That's the next level that we were talking about. But at this point, we'll let that play. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. That was the other one that we were looking at. That was a 75, 80 pip move. We were late, but sometimes being a little late is okay. Okay, I see where it's at right now. I won't let it break any further. Sometimes you just gotta just walk away from it. I'll take a loss on that one. If it retraces, I may look for another entry on that one, but I won't give up more than that, especially because if it breaks that 4-hour level, then it's all over. Let's go back to this one. Swissy. That's very good. After the loss, still up 14 pips. Yes, yeah, I'm still up on this one. I don't think it'll go any lower. I think this is where it ends. And sometimes it's better to take what's on the table. Let's see if it drops one more time. Just one more time. No. Doesn't want to drop. And that level, this one is where they were going to bounce, but they broke right through it. 150.20. And it's right there, trading at it, below it. It's just like, you know, bouncing up and down. The 1 hour on this one, it's this level. It's exactly this level in the 1 hour. I mean, it, you know, it was, yeah. Nope. Sometimes it's just time to take what's on the table. Not a bad trade. Granted, we got in late. If we would have gotten in from the very top, would have been a very sizable trade. Because from here to here, would have been 92 pips. Wow. You know, the fact that we were able to take what we took out of it is still very, very good. That's why I said, you know, no buy, hold, sell trade recommendations. But once it's on, it's on. They don't miss. You know, it'll go from a 30 to a 60-minute level, and this was a 60-minute level. Can't really say if it'll go any lower at this point. You know, 150 even is pretty much a 100 pip move. Sometimes you can't take more out of it than what they're willing to give you. Not bad, still a profitable night. Let's see if there's any more surprises that we should be looking at. No, nothing here. CAD, New Zealand CAD. Huh. I haven't traded that one in a while. New Zealand CAD. That trade balance is going to be very interesting, announcement by the UK. But more interesting will be the morning news in the morning with the US. I'm thinking that we would probably find, ooh, look at that. That was a nice move. This one was done because, this one played out because of the rate announcement by the New Zealand, the Royal Bank of New Zealand. And it, I mean, you couldn't miss. The power dots were right here. Even though they went, you know, they came down, they went long. I mean, the move on this one was, even if you would have gotten in here, that's 211 pips. On the immediate trade, which was here, right at the announcement, was 114. But the one that you should have been on was this one, the pound New Zealand. When you see what that thing generated, you're going to fall off your chair. I missed it. Yes, they are very good before the news, especially on the, excuse me. See here, for instance, this was right before the news. This is the 15-minute. Okay, but look at the 20-minute. The 20-minute is the one that guides you right before a news event, you know, rate announcement. Look where it started to form, right here. The distance between the dots was perfect because you had it from here to here, 43 pips, which is significant, but it's within the mean. This was up here at 2085. When you go down to the 15, you'll see that the 15 was even lower right before the announcement, right here. It formed right here. So confirmation of the 20 and the 15, I mean, this trade was just, it was just too good to be true if you really think about it. Let's say from there to there, 289 pips. But from here to here, that was 379 pips. So if you would have just gotten in on the rate announcement itself, on one lot, you would have picked up 289 pips. And look how further it came down, because, I mean, this thing just really dropped like a stone. That's 491 pips in less than a day. In less than 1 day. That's amazing. I haven't seen a move like that for quite some time. Euro Aussie. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, lower highs, exactly. Euro Aussie. Let's see. Exactly. That would have been the one trade for the whole week. I thought about that. I had to take my son to speech therapy, my 3.5-year-old, so I wasn't here when they announced. Okay. Bounced off of a fib level, did it? You're you're recovering, are you? 9 to go. Yeah, I was gonna say. You know, it could come up to 139.44. That's a big move if it does that. Because it dropped pretty steep, but see, there's no level. There's no level there. I don't like this, and I would be very upset if the Aussie dollar started to come down. Oh, they did start to come down. See, now I would look for that re-entry on this trade. I should have waited. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations. But now they're going to move to the downside on this one. Even though they went up against me 23 pips, I should have stayed in. I'd be pretty much at a break-even point right now. But sometimes, you know, when that happens, you can go back for a re-entry. You know, they didn't really make it all the way. They came right back down. And so now it's just a matter of letting them play it out. This one, because they bounced off of the 4-hour level, the next level is the one, and the next level is the one that we look actually on a 4-hour or a 2-hour level, because they'll usually trade to those. Let's see if we have anything here. Nothing. God, I hate when that happens. Let's go to the 120. Oh, no worries. Nice. Yeah, see, we're not seeing anything here. But this is a 4-hour level, and they're not going to break that puppy. Or was this a higher one? Let's see, was it a 480? If it was a 480, they're certainly not breaking that. No, was it a 720? Huh. Maybe it was a 720. Not breaking it. Oh, this level, the 720, it's on the 720, the 7682. Because it's so hot, you know, it's on this time frame. Okay, this is what I was looking for. 7630 would be the next one that they'll hit. Let me draw a line on this real quickly. And this would also be a support. Okay, now let's work our way down. 7733, let's see. 7630 is the one I see that they're not going to. That's one, to me. This is a 7682 is a very strong level on the higher time frames, on the 720 minute. So normally when they go to a level like this, they'll usually use it to retest, but they won't do anything more than that. And then they'll bounce off of it. In this case, they did bounce off of it on the smaller time frame. See, they went towards it and then bounced off of it. Remember, I got out when it was up here because it went too aggressive. I was down like 23 pips. But they'll usually challenge it again, but they won't break it. And that's when they stop doing that, then usually it's when it comes down. But this is the next level that it would hit, 7629. And if it breaks below this level, then at that point, 7604 from where it's currently trading right now. So it still has room for play right now. See, this next candle that just formed is bearish right at this level. You see it? So if it comes down from this level, then they're pretty much done, because rarely have I seen them break a 720 minute level. Calculate that, 720. This is a 12-hour level. You know, they'll use 4, they'll use an 8, 12-hour levels, and they'll usually, when they trade towards them, they normally will use them as resistance levels and support levels, but never really trade more than that. They'll never break them, because if they break them, then they have to go to the next level on that time frame. So I don't really see the Aussie rallying per se. That's why I don't think they'll break this 12-hour level. And then it'll bounce right off and come right back down. All right, let's take a look and see. And that euro, see how it's coming back down right from that level. If we analyze the volume here, this one went right to it. 38 million, 22 million on the sell, difference of 16 million. Why wouldn't they break above this price level? Doesn't make sense. You know, this one had a lot more volume. This one had 281 million on the buy, 174 on the sell. Again, with that type of volume, why wouldn't they convince the sellers to sell above that price level? Which is exactly what happened here. Here there was less volume, so here basically they threw everything, the kitchen sink at it. But here they held, and I got out on this one. Here they held, of course, and they didn't break above it. Now, and then this one right here, which is not showing, but they were trading 41 million on the buy, 39 million on the sell. Why wouldn't they trade above that 76.82 level? Why? And now it's coming right back down. So now you have a little bit more volume currently, and it's starting to pull down. And the buyers are willing to buy at a lower level, lower price level than this. So if that continues, which more than likely it will, then they're pretty much done. And again, that's what we see, you know, normally in a big pen trade. They'll usually go to a specific level, bounce right off of it, and then make their move. So no, I'm going to hold my ground on that one. I'm not too concerned about that one. And if that happened, that means that the Euro Aussie is right for an entry, because they should have done a retracement on that one. Nice pivot on this one. Again, we don't have any power dots on this thing at all. And the trade looks good, but I like to have confirmation. It's just me. Nope. Nothing. And it's too high from the bottom. Too much risk if it were to retrace. I won't take a trade with 40 pips. With 40 pip risk. Oh, you're funny. Very major strong level, yeah. Yeah, see, the retracement is what I'm looking for here, and I'm not seeing it. It's holding. This thing is it's going to continue to pop to the upside. The Aussie's going to go down. Oh, really? You found a level there, huh? How? What level? Where? On a weekly? November 3rd. Yeah, see, it's trading above this level right now. And what's happened before, every time they've traded above it, they've moved up to 138.90. So this one has a potential to continue to scream. On the weekly. So they broke a weekly level to the upside, is what you're telling me? Let me remove the volume so we can take a look at that, because I'm curious. All right, let's go to the weekly. Let's see. Right here. Oh yeah, right there. It just, but it's trading right here though. It's with the pivots. Let me see if it's on the monthly. Oops. I hate, ooh. Oh, it's on the month. No, this is 134.54. It's trading 138.53. It's too far from that level. Sure it's not on the daily? Oh, they bounced right off of this. Right off of this level. 137.92. Let's mark this one. Now, even though this is, it's not a transition. Even though this is not a power dot, it was a very strong support level because they bounced from it. Oh man, I can't mark it on this. So I have to 137.96. Okay, let's go back down to the 15-minute. 137. Oh, right off of it. Oh wow. Yeah, right off the daily. Oh yeah, this has room to move. That's why you took the trade. Yeah, see, this one should come up to 139.47. Well, it should come up another 100 pips from the looks of it. I just don't like following trades. I'm late. I can't take a trade if I'm late in it. But this was a level right off a daily. This was a daily low, and they bounced right exactly off of that thing. Let's see that Aussie dollar trade as that should be. Oh, look at that. What a reversal. See, normally I would tell you throw the kitchen sink, but we would have thrown the kitchen sink at it at this level, 76.82. I just couldn't say it at the time. You would have picked up 15 pips aggressively. And now that this candle did what it did, anticipate that it's going to come down pretty hefty. The next level on this one would be, yeah, 76.21. So calculate, that's a good drop from my entry to here, 48 pips, and it could come down even further. So I should recover the 23 that they hit me. Let's see if the market analysis has something that we are not seeing on the 30-minute. Euro Aussie's in play. That one we already know. Euro Swissy I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Let's see the DAX. I'm curious about the DAX right now, actually. Let's see the 45-minute. No, this one's a little on the weird side right now. Am I missing data? Are you kidding me? Oh, I am. Excuse me. Okay, let's work our way down from here. Nothing. nothing, nothing, nope, nothing, nope, 2 pivots almost, let's see. Power dot right here, treacherous. Means it'll test this level and then bounce up. And New Zealand Swiss, yeah, we looked. I was curious about that one actually, because they did break through. Let's take a look at that one. You know, the New Zealand, as an insignificant country. Oh, nice power dot, right there. On 10-minute. Are you thinking long? Because I'm thinking long, especially right here. Let's map this thing out. But at 73.75, you think, no, I don't think so. You're a little too, because of the pivot, I see. Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to go long from here because of the power dot on the 10-minute. But let's map it out. Let's go 720 and work our way down quickly. Nothing. 480. Nothing. 240. Nothing. 120. 90. Nope. 60. Nope. 30. No. 20. The 15. No, the only one, the 10 is the one that's holding, that's keeping me in line with that one. Let's do a 5-minute and see. You know, I'll take a look at 173.67. You were looking at, I was going to say 75 is what you were looking at right here. 173.70, I would agree with you. Not 75. My only concern is because we got a power dot on the 10-minute at this time of the night, I think they're going to hold. And it's the second time that they retest this level. So if they don't break it, they're going to go long from this level. But if they break it, then yeah, they'll come down about right here. 173.70 is what I'm thinking. But it looks like a good scalp to the downside, quite honestly. But if it holds, if it holds, it's going to go long. That's my only concern. Let's see the 10. I don't like trading off of the 5 anymore. Just doesn't seem to do the trick. But you know what? Let's go down to the 2-minute on this one. Let's see what the... Yeah, see, they hit it and they bounced right above it. And normally I don't look at this. Nice pivot here. Yeah, see, I would be... I'm long from this one. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations, but I like this trade long from this point. Boy, the spread on that thing is murder. That power dot did it for me. And because it's the second time they're attempting to come down on it, it's a continuation of this trade. Some could argue that they're shaking off people that are long, that were long, by stopping them out. I would say they're giving some banks the opportunity to get out of the negative positions that they're in and then continue to drive it long. But this power dot did it for me. That's the one that basically called me to attention. For it to come down to 73, 75 is too much. It's not. If there was no power dot that would have formed here, I would have agreed with you. But because it formed here, that's the one that tells me no, not quite. Let's see how that Aussie dollar is doing. Ooh. Yeah, see, it's in play. So we'll recover on this one. At least what we initially lost. I'm not looking for a big move on this thing. 30, 40 pips is as much as I go on this one. If it goes any further, great, but I'm not looking for a big move on this specific trade. New Zealand, Swiss. What's wrong with this picture? The New Zealand's weakening, and the Swiss is getting strong, but the Swiss is way up here now. And we have a power dot here. Now normally, we'll get a signal of a retracement in a trade before they begin to rebalance with the FX radar. Let's add that. Actually, let me add this first. Have to admit, it has been an interesting night. Mahesh, I'm sorry, my email hasn't been working. Let me repeat. Somehow I got on a spam filter, and I'm trying to get that resolved. So I know some of you have been waiting for emails. I do apologize. I will get back to you. I'll respond to you tomorrow from my Gmail and my Yahoo email. In the meantime, it's been a little bit of a nuisance, if you can imagine. And we still haven't resolved, and I don't even know how I got on spam. Looking to buy, yeah. Yeah, I'll hold on to this one. See, here's my concern right now. The Swiss being at this level and the New Zealand being at this level. Normally you'd think, because the Swiss is getting stronger, that this would come down, but now you have a second power dot forming on the 10-minute. Holding right there. So if they were to break below this level, that's a big if, I wouldn't stay in this trade. I'd get out pretty quickly. I won't let it go aggressively against me. But I don't think they're going to come down to this level and bounce 73.75. I think they're making their fight right here. Let's take a look at the volume. Okay. So they initiated here. 162 million on the buy, 193 on the sell. There was 30 million. Sellers are more eager to sell at that price level. The buyers are not. The buyers are pulling away, which is a good thing. Remember, it's a zero-sum game, so you have to look at it from that perspective. Next candle, 12 million on the buy, 17 million on the sell. Again, the sellers are more eager to sell, the buyers are not. Zero-sum game, they're pulling away. So because that's to be the case, and the volume diminished in tremendous amounts, this one should explode to the upside because of that. So now I'll hold. I'll wait on this one. We'll let it play out. I don't think there's anything else that we can actually see that would change. I mean, the pound is still... God, that pound Swissy, did it continue to go down? Let's see. No, it did not. It held exactly at that level, at the 60-minute. So I went from a 30-minute to a 60-minute, right on the money. And it's holding. Let's get back to that New Zealand Swissy. That's good, actually, because it justifies Swiss weakness, which is what we're anticipating here, but against New Zealand. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar one more time and define whether to stay or get out. Well, it's still falling. If it breaks below 76.50, which is 7 pips away, then it'll go down to 76.30, which is where I would plan to exit. Keep going. Let's see you play it out. All right, keep going. You know, I'm really surprised that we didn't see bigger moves tonight. I was anticipating much bigger moves, more aggressive. They're probably going to wait till about, let's say within the next 2 hours to set up for the U.S. session, since the news is coming out very aggressively. The retail sales and unemployment claim numbers. Those are going to be interesting. If the numbers are good, the dollar's going to get even more stronger, and then the euro is going to really, really suffer that one. The euro move, the euro has been just crashing. We'll take a look at the euro real quickly. I got into that trade yesterday, and I shorted it, and I picked up 100 pips out of it. And I picked up about 100 pips from the euro Aussie as well, short. That was about 3:30 a.m. when I got into those trades. I just don't see this currency pair right now gaining any strength. See, this is where I got in right here. And then I got out right here. But this is in the middle of the range. And since they already came down, you could say it's a 50% retracement from here to here. I just don't see them giving up anything. I don't see the euro gaining too much strength at this point. It's in a downward spiral. I'd say that if you trade the euro long, trade it with caution, because the European Central Bank had to get more aggressive. And see, they bounced off of this level in the 20-minute. This level is repetitive, and let's go sit on this one. See, look, right off of it. This would be a good example to look at the volume, just to analyze. See, look at the volume here. 646 million on the buy, really? 531 million on the sell, and they could not drive price up from that level. I mean, it's rare for us to see this type of volume on a 20-minute. Next candle, volume drops, more rebalancing, and you can see how they're cooking the books inside that candle. 530 million on the buy, 544 on the sell. So the sellers are more eager to sell away from this price level, which is what they've done previously here. And now in this current candle, you have 41 million on the buy, 30 million on the sell, difference of 11 million. It's a bullish, bearish candle. I just don't see them pulling it off to take it to this level, or even this level, to 108.97. I'm thinking they're just going to give this thing up and let it fall below 105, definitely below 104.88. I mean, I hate to be right, but I'm thinking they're going to drive this thing to parity within the next 2 weeks. So let's take a look at this one. Yeah, that euro is is a tricky one. Anyone trying to guess the floor on that is wrong right now. Interesting. Why did they do that? Let's go to the 15-minute on this one. No, I'm still good on this one. I'm not scared of this one. This one still looks good. This candle's going to close right now, and the next one should continue to the downside. We'll give it a minute and see where it closes. The fact that this is closing below this one, this one, this one, and this one is a good thing. Good. Now let's see what the next one does. And it closed below the mean. So even the volume was negative. See? Look at all the volume that they hit on this one. And this one very little, and it moved. 10 million on the buy, 14 million on the sell. So no. I'm still good with this trade. Let's take a look at that euro dollar one more time though. Albert may be right. There may be a trade in that one. And it may be setting up right now before the U.S. announcement. Thank you. There's a pivot right there. That's what I was looking for. Look, normally a trade like this is one that I would really be concerned with. However, because it has formed under a previous level and it's trading right now below this level, so it's trading below this one and now below this one on the 15-minute, that tells me short, even though I don't have power dots here. But I'm willing to go to the smaller time frames to see if there are any power dots. Sometimes that makes a little bit of sense. Sure, I'll take a look at the DAX again. Yeah, see, I think they've overdone it, and they're going to come down aggressive. But this is the floor. This is where they're going to hold at 105. I don't think that they're going to go any further on the euro. It's at a level of extreme, and it can't hold. The dollar's starting to turn and gain strength from where it's currently trading. You could literally put a stop loss below here. No buy, hold, sell trade recommendations, but you know what? I think this one is ready for the fall, only because of the dollar strength. And because I think the news, because it hit this level and didn't trade above it, and the volume here, the way that it came out. See, here's where it gets interesting, because here's where you, even if you don't have power dots, you can still identify the trade and look at the volume. You have 186 million on the buy, 167 on the sell, difference of 20 million, and they didn't break above that. Next candle, 158 on the buy, 155 on the sell. You know, again, a difference on the, a bearish candle with bullish volume, and they didn't break above. This one, 123, the volume starts to decrease at that level. 123 on the buy, 122 on the sell. Pretty much even by a million and nothing. And then this one comes in, the volume increases on the sell side and drives it. And the buyers accept to buy at a lower price, which is what they did. 134 on the buy, 156 on the sell. And then they get further and further and further and further away. So, and now we're pretty much at break even on it. So I think from this point, this trade goes south. I don't see this trade going north any further. I think we've identified the level, and if I'm right, they're going to bring it down. Not too aggressively, but enough that when the news comes out in the morning, then they're really going to hit it to the bottom. So I like this trade on the short. You could put a 20 pip stop loss. They won't hit it. Very rarely if they did. Let's take a look at the AUSD one more time, and then we'll take a look at the DAX, and we'll finish for the evening or the morning for that matter. Ooh, you lousy, miserable. Now, they formed pivots here on the 5-minute. However, they don't usually go off of them because normally they break them, especially this one that's in the middle of a range. And you see how the power dots are coming aggressive, and the fact that the candles have been trading lower and lower and lower below the trend dots. That tells me they're going to break this and eventually come down. So I'm not too keen on holding it there or getting out. And the Australian economy doesn't really have anything that would, and they're forming because of this. They hit this level. 76.51, but they're going to break right through that thing, and they got to finish right here. So no, we'll stay in that one. We'll let that one play out. All right, let's go to the DAX. This one will be interesting. Will the DAX reflect the euro? Good question. Did come down. It's holding. Don't have any levels here. Let's go to the higher time frame. We'll see if we have anything. Nope. Nothing there. Let's go higher. Now sometimes you want to go even higher on these, and that means that we'd have to kill these two indicators below remove them. Okay, let's go higher. Don't mess with me on this. Give me the data. Come on. Come on, give us the data. Okay. Nothing here. Let's see if in the weekly. Nope. Let's see on the daily. Nothing. Let's see. The Aussie drop. Let's go to the 720 on this one. Let's add data. Back it up. Nothing. Let's work our way down. 480. Nothing. 120. Nothing. 90. 60. Nope. Nothing on the 45 except for a pivot. And that's questionable. I wouldn't be too keen on that. A 30. Nope. 20. 20, you have this right here. And they bounced right off of it. You know, normally when I see them form a level on the 20-minute, I respect it. I don't trade against it because it could be very detrimental to your account. But let's work our way down. See, again, you have another pivot here on the 15-minute. So you want to outline them and see how they are presenting themselves. 10. Again, right here. You know, it's a triple confirmation of levels. Whenever you have that, I'd normally like to say you have a trade to the upside. Futures are tricky, but not in this case. Really, is the euro dropping? I imagine that thing was going to drop like a stone. Let's go down a little further. Yeah, you have pivots here. You know, I can't really say at this point if it would continue to go long. I mean, here on the 5-minute, it identifies this level. If it did go long, it would probably come up to 118, you know, 11,843, and then go down. I'm thinking that the DAX is going to follow the euro, you know, down in flames. It just doesn't seem to do anything else. Ooh, look at that. Wow. It did drop like a stone, and it formed this here. This is the next level where it's going to come down to 105.25. What a beautiful trade that was. Sometimes I amaze myself. And look at that. That Aussie's holding. I'm telling you, they're going to break that thing. But yeah, the Euro USD is just one of those trades where, you know, they're trying to rally and bring in a retail market to buy, but they're not. No one's buying. No one's buying the story that the Euro is, you know, going to be doing that. Aussie a bit curious. Why volume? What the volume says on the Aussie? Sure. Let's go to it real quickly. AUD, USD. Let's see what the volume says there, actually. Oh, God, I don't have volume. I have to add it. Let's see. In a second. Okay. Alright, so they hit this here. 68 million on the buy, 62 million on the sell. This one's 64 million on the buy, 88 million on the sell. They held. And then it came down. 54 million on the buy, 41 million on the sell. More buying volume, but then they came down further and the buyers took it. They bought it at a lower level. The sellers are more aggressive in selling and they're in control. They're selling at lower prices and the buyers are buying. Here, again, you know, the buyers are trying to drive price up, but the sellers aren't filling the orders. And that's why you see them right there, 4.2, 4.3, but they're holding. 11 million on the buy. And, you know, I would anticipate a stronger move, and it's not. This is trading inside this bar right now. Unless it trades outside of it, I'm not getting out. I'm holding, because this is in the range, in the middle of this range and this range. And normally when that happens, they'll use it to stall, but then they'll continue and they'll break right through it. So, no. And you can see the sellers aren't filling those orders. The buyers want to buy, and the sellers aren't playing. That puts them in charge, and that means that the buyers are going to have to buy at a lower price. You know, they're not going to be able to drive price up. This candle is very significant from that perspective. You know, it does explain that. But I would still hold. And then finally, let's see. I will look at the E-minis though, the mini Dow and the E-mini S&P real quickly. Look at that. Oh, it dropped like a stone. Someone got whacked, and they weren't kind about that trade. I would hold this one more than the Aussie dollar, per se. I'd stay on this one, because it's got the potential to drop even further. But let's take a look at the mini Dow, only because it's going to get very interesting this morning, later, when they do announce. Okay. Let's take a look at this. See if we have anything setting up on the 45-minute. Oh, yes, they are. They are that. I knew they weren't that smart, but this is ridiculous. Okay, so here's the trade for the morning. Write it down, because I'm only going to say it once. You see this level that formed on the 45-minute? which is at 17,710. That is your ticket in on the trade short. Why am I saying that? Because they're going to use, when this level forms, normally they are that dumb that right before a news announcement they set up for it. So you want to see what they're doing later on this morning to set up for this trade. Let's go down to the 30-minute. If, depending on how they trade, if they go below right before the announcement, 17,697, which more than likely they will, then you know it's a short trade. So this is another, right now we're saying 17,710 is where it's formed. It's 10 pips, 15 pips away, 15 points away. 17,696 is the next level. If they break below that before the announcement, then you're good. Then you know that they're going to come crashing down. And let's take a look at the S&P real quickly. And then I will say adieu. Let's see if they do the same thing with this one. They did the same thing. They'll usually spike above it, but let's see, 45 minutes on this one. Yep, again. This price level is 2048. It's currently trading at 2047. So if they trade below 2048 in the morning, which more likely they will, then pretty much you know that the stock markets are just going to take a tremendous beat down that they haven't had for quite some time. Haven't really gone that much back in time to test, really went back no more than 5 years. So 2047 is your price level on the mini S&P. And that's all she wrote for today. Now, for those of you that are new, and there are very few of you that are new, join us Friday morning. We will be back. Have a great morning, have a great evening, have a great afternoon, and I will be emailing a lot of you tomorrow from either my Yahoo or Gmail if I don't get my other email working. So have a great one. Have a good night. Have a good sleep. And we'll talk to you soon. Adisak, I'll see you in the morning at 11:30 Eastern. Hopefully you'll still be awake. Take care. Okay, no problem. You want to do it next week? Let me know. I'll send you an email. Okay, give me a call. Talk to you soon.